Greetings humanity, and welcome to Channel Otherdoc. I am Jim, I use he, him pronouns, and this is the Inner Circle, one of the story arcs in our Waking Nightmares campaign of Don't Rest Your Head, a game by Fred Hicks of Evil Hat Productions. This is a supernatural horror game in which the Insomniac characters have been awake for so long they've developed strange abilities and can freely interact with a realm of living nightmares. We're going to go around and say hi to everybody, find out who they are and who they are playing. We will start with Alyssa. Hello!
Hello, my name is Alyssa. I am your friendly virtual spinner of yarns and teller of tall tales, better known as Shawl Tales, and tonight I am playing Lila Mendelsohn, the stressed out songstress. She has not been having a great time on her third visit, but you know, it could always be worse.
Isn't it? You never know. It can always get worse, to be fair. All right, and now let us head over to Olivia. Hello.
Hello, everybody. I am Olivia, and my pronouns are she, her. And this evening I will be, sorry. I know we did this last week, but I immediately forgot how to do intros. You can find me on the internet at Cry Out Olivia. This week I will be playing Dawson, the mathematics grad student who, is opposite of Lila. Is having a great time. We haven't really dealt with I've been doing really well, dealing with scary monsters. I've got this cool puzzle to figure out. I got a book. Oh my gosh. So we'll see how long that lasts for.
Yes. I think maybe it's about to get interesting. I have the feeling. I have a feeling. I mean, more interesting than already it perhaps has been. Perhaps. And now we will head over to Nash. Hello.
I'm muted. That's a thing. Sorry, doing 10 things at once because ADD. Hi, I'm Nash. I use they, them pronouns just to keep things confusing. I'm playing Lana, who uses she, her. And she's about to snap and is at max exhaustion. So
I'm
good
sure
luck
it'll be
to
fine.
hers. Nah, I don't believe you, but it's fine.
It's the best possible time to be. It's the best possible way to be.
At least she made a bargain and can get people out.
Yeah.
If she's alive long enough to,
Fair. Very fair.
Yep.
Luckily, as we discovered a few days ago, the if worse comes to worse, the Mad City does in fact have a corpse disposal system. Now, let us move on over to Hannah. Hello.
Hi. I just learned that the Mad City has a corpse disposal system. My name is Hannah. You can find me online on Hanimation Art on Twitter and Hanimation Studios pretty much everywhere else. And my pronouns are she, her, but for this campaign, I am playing Luca Bastiaty, whose pronouns are he, him. He is an artist. He was living a great life here in the Mad City, and then somebody came in and woke him up, and now everything is terrible. So let's get rolling. This is fun. This is great.
Dread consciousness, we hates it. And finally, we will now go over to Rrok. Hello.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Rock and Roll, and that's how you can find me on the internet, pretty much anywhere, is as Rock and Roll. And tonight I'll be playing Dustin Lintz, the tortured artist who has once again found himself in the Mad City.
Yes. Voluntarily for some strange reason. But,
it creeps in you. You can't
it does.
get away.
I mean, that's true.
Nobody said the torture wasn't self-inflicted.
That's fair. That's very fair. There's actually a lot to possibly unpack there, but instead of doing that, just as a reminder, As a reminder, like we do with the other games on this channel, we're going to be using the X card, the N card, and the O card. If we hit something that's crossing a line for one of us, any of us can type an X in the Zoom video chat or anywhere else, hold up a card, make an X symbol, and we'll back up and do something else. If something happens that we're okay having in the game, but we don't want a graphic description of it, we can type an N in the Zoom chat, and we'll fade to black on it or put it behind a veil. So it'll be there, but we won't go into detail. Finally, if we're exploring a topic or an area of roleplay that's particularly intense for us, but we want to keep going anyway, we can put an O in the chat to let us know that we're okay and that we're all good to keep piling on the drama. Something else we can do is put an O with a question mark after it. If we say or we do something and then think, maybe that might have been a little too much, then everyone else can respond to that again with an X, an N, or an O to let us know if we're still doing okay. We're also using the pause. If any of us needs to take some time, we can ask for a pause in the game while we discuss things, or just take a break for as long as anybody needs. As a reminder, just a few content warnings. This game has the potential for discussions of physical and mental debilitation, insomnia, death, law enforcement, nightmares, body horror, being stalked and chased by supernatural beings, and other horrific themes. The game has mechanics related to states arising from sleep deprivation, referred to in-game as exhaustion, madness, scars, and fight-or-flight responses, but places the expression of those states squarely in the hands of the players. If you want to see that in chat, then that will pop up like I just put in there. Basically, that just type in !DRYHCW. That's Don't Rest Your Head content warning. That'll show up there. Let's see. What's the other thing? Yes, the other thing is that we have an open door policy, which means that any of us and any of you can feel free to step away from this at any time if we need to. It is just a game, and mental health is always more important. So, let us figure out what happened last time. Heavens help us. We had... So, as I recall, we had the group made up of people, a couple of... Well, Lila and Lana ended up leaving the tunnels down below. Being escorted by Wax Knights. Luca will have to have gone off and done something, and we'll discuss that in a little bit. They were escorted to a point where they ended up meeting up with Dawson and Dustin, who had been going through the subway and finding their own ways through the tunnels. Through an interesting means, there is a kind of a synergy that is being picked up on. Lana has a means of trying to sort of predict things or to figure out the best way to do a thing. That is her madness talent. Dawson has a madness talent that, well, involves time. But as sort of an extension of that, she's recently started figuring out how to use math very quickly to figure out directions of things, how things are going to land in the Mad City. It's an interesting new form of mathematics that is being discovered here. We're not sure. Based in part on notes from a notebook. Apparently, Ada Lovelace came to the city at one point, and recorded things in a slim volume that Dawson won in a game of chance. And oddly enough, the previous owner of that book appears to have been her father. Because there's some sticky notes with his handwriting all over them, with annotations for these things. So figuring things out about that. So they met up, and they made their way through the re-education district, which is a bunch of colleges, schools, things of that nature, to the point where they were supposed to. The Wax King had basically made a deal with them, where if they go and find the source of this river that has cropped up, in the Mad City, they will and report on it. Possibly, if you find out what they can about it, then the Wax King will provide them with an exit. He will locate an exit for them. He can't create exits, but he can find them. And so they got into a bit of a thing where they were, or as they were kind of, they're trying to avoid this gang of basically drunken frat boys. That was one of the groups, one of the gangs in that part of the Mad City. And in so doing, they ran into another gang, the Irregulars, who are basically all these sort of strange Dickensian kids that they keep running into. And a brawl happened between the two gangs. They did manage to get on the good side of the Irregulars, and three of the Irregulars ran and managed to get them away from the conflict, finally. Getting them right over to the Garden District, which is where we left off. So, a couple things we need to cover. Now, before leaving the Wax King, Lila, Lana, and Luca, there is something that I need to know, and it involves something that the Wax King needed to know. It's kind of important to the whole deal that is being made. And what the Wax King needed to know, he's going to provide you folks with an exit. He's going to find an exit for you. A door or some thing that will lead back to the city slumbering. But he needs to know which city slumbering to look for. So, I mean, the question is, which one did you folks tell him was the one that he needed to look for?
I mean, technically we could answer one in the United States and get wherever we needed to go from there without giving him, like, we need to go to this city answer.
Yeah, I mean, if it doesn't matter, he's just going to probably use whichever is the first one he comes across.
It only, and someone, I don't need to speak for the whole group. In Lana's mind, as long as I get back, I can hop on an airplane. As long as I get, well, I mean, quite literally any city, for that matter, she could hop on an airplane and end up. But I think for Lana, her answer is going to be the U.S. so that it doesn't take like ungodly amounts of hours to get home. Just, what, all day to fly from one coast to the other,
That's fair.
But I don't have to talk for the group on this one.
This is something you all would have had the opportunity to chime in on, or all three of you would have had. The three of you that were there would have had the opportunity to chime in on. Are you okay with just, something in the U.S., or do you want to get him to narrow it down further?
I don't know that it's like super important for us to get back to Anchorage since we only have two of the people who were going there left.
That's fair.
Yeah, Luca doesn't have an opinion.
Okay. All right. I'm just imagining they end up having because of how things shook out. They end up having the conversation alone with Luca, and they find they find a door to southern Italy. You're like, where are you going? Pompeii? No, it's fine.
Free vacation.
Yes.
Although, okay, I just had another thought. That I maybe should have had sooner. Lana has been going through some things. And maybe Lana wants to go on a, cheap vacation without her passport.
Oh my god.
You might run into some problems later.
Getting
if you try
back
to
into the
leave.
country.
Yeah, getting back into the U.S. might be a problem, but hey,
Well-
for now, we're in Italy. That's all that matters.
I mean, to be fair, she would just go to the embassy and be like, I lost my passport. My bad. No. I think I'm gonna go with my original idea. That was
Okay.
just an idea I had that it would be a lot cheaper to get a one-way ticket to go home.
Also
That's fair.
valid.
All right. So he'll look for just a door somewhere in the United States, the continental U.S. probably, and sort of figure it out from there. So that's sorted. So now, narratively speaking, we would now discuss this. So Luca had to take care of something. And so we need to talk about what that was. They essentially, it was something that that would have involved talking to the wax people at least a bit, because it's like, okay, we'll send this citizen with you so that you can get back to the others, because this citizen can, and the wax citizens are the ones that are entirely covered in wax. So they don't talk much, or they don't talk at all. But apparently this one is always going to know where Lana is because of the bracelet. So can bring Luca to the right place, so they can catch up with them. So the question becomes, let's see, we can do this. Are we leaning in a particular direction here? I was thinking, we were talking about this a little bit off stream, and we were talking about maybe something was going on with the paint creature, or maybe something was going on with the wax people. Do we have is there a particular way you'd prefer to go with this?
Would the paint creature be able to find us where we are? Like, would it have the same difficulty getting through that we did? Because we had a lot of difficulty getting through.
You did. The paint creature, though, generally always finds a way.
That's true. That's true. The guy is unstoppable.
Yeah.
He's
So
that works for me.
Yeah, and also possibly he might have come in from like the north end or somewhere. Just sort of he might have gone around where they've gone around the barricades. So what we could say happened potentially is that the paint creature showed up in one of the tunnels on the north end, and they were like, and it was a thing where it was like, I don't think they immediately knew, but reports were coming in about this paint creature. It's like, what's it doing? We're not sure. And I imagine Luca probably explained that this was attached to him, and so Luca would be like, can I go talk to them? That kind of, does that make sense?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So yeah, they sent a wax citizen with you to go and talk to the paint creature.
Mm-hmm.
And what I'm wondering is what kind of information the paint creature is bringing you.
Well, he stayed on the surface a lot longer than we
Yeah.
did, so maybe he's seen something that we weren't able to see.
Let me see. So, I need to figure out how much of this the paint creature has, because let me take a look. I must gaze upon an image right now that will tell me things. Oh, I can't do that. However, sorry, my brain. So I think he's gonna give Luca some information about where things moved, because a lot of crap moved around.
Okay.
He probably doesn't have all of the outer districts pinned necessarily.
Mm-hmm.
but he can tell you where the inner districts ended up, and then maybe some of the outer districts. Let me see if I can real quick pull up a thing that will help us with that. See, we're gonna go to the map file real quick, and then I'm gonna, let's see. You want pick a compass direction for me if you would, and let me know as what you would like the most information about.
North.
Okay. One moment, please. I'm going to go ahead and just pull a few things. Just a few things out of here. All right.
Well, which direction did the Wax King tell us where the river was congregating, or where it started? Okay, where was that?
Yeah, that's kind of at on the 13 numbered clock. This would be about it was around somewhere between 2 and 3 o'clock, basically.
So like northeast?
Yeah, roughly. Like east
Can
northeast.
I ask him about that area if he has
sure.
any information? Okay.
Yeah, if you'd rather have that, then I can. Yeah, let me just pop one or two things off here. There. I think that'll be good. All right. Now I shall just quickly save this file, and I shall export this file. It is very exciting file things happening. And now I shall grab this file really quickly. Alright. I'm gonna go and grab it really quickly. And by really quickly, I mean as relatively quickly. Okay, let me see here. Mad City. I'm going to go ahead and open a handout for this. I'm going to go ahead and bring the file over. Make sure that we're good. Excellent. And I shall share it. I shall share this file. Luca. All right. So now you should be able to see in the handouts, it's actually just right up there at the top, the
Okay. Cool.
Yeah.
Ooh, okay.
So the creature painted that for you, basically, so you can see kind of more of that area, that layout, that part of the layout.
Okay. And y'all are in the Garden District.
Yep, that's where they're headed.
Okay, cool.
And we grab something here. There we go. Yes. Okay. Okay. So, after you've had this conversation with the paint creature, are there any particular instructions you want to give him?
I want him to stay close to me because I don't want to get separated from him again.
Okay. Yeah. A lot happened. He will follow you folks, and will take you. The wax citizen will take you down a number of long tunnels, until you're coming where you have to sort of come around and end up in the Garden District, and we shall see where you pop out in just a moment.
Okay.
Actually, so everyone has made it. Lila and Dawson and Lana and Dustin. And 2 of the irregulars. These are kids who are about, 15, 16, something like that. You're at this point where, so you see this. These buildings are, again, they're from a range of different eras. You are currently on the I want to say the inner corner of the Garden District. So you just made it to the curb. Around where the Clockwork Cops are. And the Garden District is across from District 13. And there's a number of different buildings of different eras. They all have greenery about them. You saw them, when anyone looking through the periscope would see that there was greenery on the roofs. A lot of sort of areas. There's a lot of, looks like gardening, farming, that kind of thing going on around each of the buildings. Very active in that way. And so I would like to know, as you are there, is there a particular direction you are going to head in when you get to that corner? Are you just going to stay on the corner and get your bearings, or are you going to move further in first?
And I think we should just head central. Not central towards the clock tower. I mean, central towards the middle of the district. We're just more likely to run into the river that way.
Okay.
And or people.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Question for you. Because Lana is now hyper-focused because that's what she is at the moment. Do I see any more of those frat boys?
No, they're
around?
still in a dust-up back in the re-education district.
Okay.
There are still a couple of irregulars with you. They're just getting you further into the district before they leave you. I do want to point something out. There is something that I must not forget to mention here. While you have a moment to breathe, does anyone want to spend any coins of hope to reduce their exhaustion or their responses?
What a nice DM. What
He's
a
giving
not
us a
vindictive thing to do.
Yeah, I would like to use a few, unless somebody would like to stop me.
I know some of you are at the edge of exhaustion, at the edge of crashing.
I
I think Lila might also be, possibly.
I'm at a 5, so I could probably stand to use one.
would like to use 2 so I can get a response back and a point of exhaustion. Please and thank you.
Okay with everybody?
Sure.
We'd still have 3 left.
I'm doing good. So I think, yeah, leaving 3 for emergencies.
Now the
emergency
proverbial
successes.
question. The proverbial question do I check a fight and get into another fight with a fraternity, or do I pick a flee?
Fleeing
made the
feels like
wrong
the good choice at this point.
Well, see, here's the thing. I made the wrong choice the last time I did this.
What you can see of this district, there are a lot of human-looking people, and then there are a lot of people who look like vegetables. Lots of
I'm
large
gonna
carrots,
Uncheck a fight. I did not
potatoes,
learn from past mistakes.
broccoli,
The large vegetable people have me. I'm scared.
celery.
Gonna throw down with some broccoli. That sounds good.
Wait. Is that a broccoli or a broccoli?
Is it a dog made out of broccoli?
That's actually not a bad idea.
Broccoli puppy.
Yeah, there probably is.
Probably.
I'm imagining it's actually the broccoli dog would look more like a poodle. I think probably, if you think
Oh
about
my
it.
goodness! Yes.
Well, it's a broccoli and a cauliflower.
Yeah, sadly, yeah, probably.
I like the way you think.
Yeah, there would be cauliflower people and animals here also. They're not the sole inhabitants, but and there are other beings, other nightmare people, or just people who look like different animals, or people who look like different things. Every now and then you see someone. You see someone who looks like a piece of toast, just sort of walking down to their tool shed. But so if you're heading in, and you're trying to head closer to the center, just humor me if you would, just so I'll know. Are you going in like diagonally, or just down the side streets, or are you going down the main street and then turning and going down like the central little avenue that would be in there, and probably not reflected on a map per se, but it'd be another internal street.
So, Lana would like to keep as much like off the beaten path as much as possible.
Does it look like things are still settling, or are things pretty well?
After 1 o'clock, things are, things have stopped moving for the most part. There is still motion that happens from time to time, but very slowly. Not a lot of it. The buildings, still some of them loom in a non-Euclidean fashion.
They always kind of do that.
Yeah.
In some districts, yeah.
Yeah. Some districts more than others. You can see that at this corner that you have this district is as we stated earlier, appears to be so it's across from the inner ring street from District 13, and across the sort of the eastern main street from the Shadow District. This district entirely sort of draped in shadow and sort of semi-medieval looking buildings. I will say that as you start to move into the district just a little bit, just head down and you start turning in, unlike the first street that you come to, there will be you'll note that not too far, a bit of a ways in front of you, you see a manhole cover being detached and moving away. A manhole cover is being picked up and slid aside by someone with, it looks like, hands coated in wax.
I cautiously wait for this to happen.
Hang there and wait.
It's not tax.
You see these hands come up, and you see this featureless face coated in wax. Just sort of looks, and just sort of this little guy kind of hops up and just sort of waves down. And you'll see Luca climbing up out of the ground.
Oh, it was a wax knight. Okay.
Yeah,
was-
this is not really
Well,
a
it's
knight, but it's a wax citizen. But it's,
well, my demeanor completely shifts, much like my own did, because there was some tension that you may or may not have been able to see. But as soon as Lana sees Luca, there's like probably a very audible sigh of relief that it's not some light creature we have to fight in the moment.
and do you want Luca? Do you want your friend to be seen
funny
by
you
the
should
other
mention creatures, because
Yeah. oozing up out of the manhole after
I
the
feel like it and
See this
I, or
paint
he
creature.
and I, have a healthy respect for each other.
As long as Luca is present, it's probably not. It's fine.
comes
This thing has
lurching up.
never done anything ominous. It's fine.
Luca doesn't totally and completely hate me
Just sort of
yet.
just sort of slouches over to one of the street corners and just sort of hovers and just sort of is sort of bobbing up and down a little bit there. And yeah, basically the wax person will kind of just sort of wave to everyone, and if no one says anything to him, he's going to go back down the manhole. Luca, you will note that with these individuals, you see now, by the way, this is new information. So you see Lila and Lana. You see these two individuals who I do not think you have met yet, necessarily. Or you met Dawson. You met Dawson. So they have reunited with Dawson. And then there's this other person, this guy, that's with them. With them are these two kids. These two kids, they're just sort of dressed in tattered Victorian clothing, and you actually kind of know these kids, Luca, because they this is Chaz and Hattie. They work. They show up from time to time, but they work. They live in the re-education district, and they work for that guy that came by to talk to you about opening an art education gallery in the re-education district. So that guy, and then he proceeded to talk to you about the nature of the universe, and so you will recognize these kids immediately.
Okay. I'm going to join up with the group. The Amico di Vernici is going to follow sort of at a safe distance. As he does, yeah.
And
Luca, this is Dustin, Luca.
You are a visitor to the city as well?
Yeah, you could say that. Yeah.
Okay. And you are also trying to escape, yes?
Eventually, yeah.
You are very calm about all of this.
Not my first time.
We have a strange amount of repeat visitors. You are needing of sleep when you get home. Both of you.
Yeah.
Yes. I mean, all of us are.
All of you. Everyone gets sleep when they get home. See?
What about you?
Me, I don't know what's going to happen. None of us, we know what's going to happen.
and
Well, I have a good idea. Lana holds up. Well, Luca was there.
Mm-hmm. Yes, I remember you made the deal with the Wax King.
the two kids kind of just sort of look at each other for a second when you say that, and Chaz will sort of look at. Are you folks going to be all right? Are you good here?
Is anyone actually all right here?
as well as can be expected.
We are fine. Grazie.
Hi. Good to see you, Miss Spacietti. I was wondering if you had any. The prof was wondering if you had any thoughts about if you had an answer yet about the project you were setting up.
Oh, I've been very, very distracted. I will try and think on working on that. I will get back to you and to him.
And I think Hattie will just sort of be like, oh, yeah. Chaz will be kind of like, will be like sort of askance at Hattie, and Hattie will be, and she'll be, no, it's all right. The professor's usually very calm about these kinds of things, and Chaz and at this point, Chaz will say, all right, if you're sure, and Chaz will look up. All right, well, we'll let the professor know. Thank you very much.
Grazie.
Yeah. He's got like some kind of a. I can't exactly explain it, but he's got kind of a vision about how things are going to be, sort of the architecture is going to need to be, sort of balance and all that. So, he's got notes. He's been making notes ever since you talked.
He has ways to change the architecture that it is not random.
I can't
just within the district.
I can't exactly explain it. It's like it's because it's like we haven't done. He's explaining. What was he saying? And Hattie says, "It's maths." She says.
Oh, I am artist. We don't do the maths, but Olivia.
Us neither, really.
Olivia, you are good with math. Oh, Dawson.
Dawson's like,
my bad.
Like, yeah. Dawson's like listening avidly.
Yeah. No, they said there's apparently they work for someone called the Professor, and that apparently he's very good at maths.
Mm-hmm. And he has an idea for restructuring the entire city.
Oh well, we're not sure about that. He doesn't let us in on some of the bigger plans. He's got some of the other fellas kind of running and doing, and Hattie kind of punches him in the side, and he's like, "Oh yeah, there's some. We're very law-abiding citizens." He says, grinning.
You see, us too. We are very we abide the laws. But has he been doing any work on this vision recently? Has he put any of it into action?
Well, he can't. And Chaz is kind of like, well, best as we can tell, he doesn't actually move anything. I think he just kind of knows where things are going to move sometimes, so he helps out with that.
It is vibrating.
Maybe we think we should. Something has changed that is within no plans. Maybe we should talk to him. Is he available to talk?
They kind of look at each other, and he just sort of shrugs. Hattie says, "We can ask."
See, if you could ask him, tell him that Luca and some friends would like to discuss with him about his plans for restructure the city.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, we can talk to him about that. Yeah, and trying to think how they can. I'm trying. How do people do things? Oh, right. How do you want? How do you want him to reach you? You going to be back at the other place later, or do we need to send a message or something?
I don't know where we are going. I am just getting back here. But if I send my amigo de Vernici with you, you can tell him whatever you need, and he will find me.
You so sort of look at.
You take him. Okay. Do not touch him. Do not touch him. Whatever you do, but take him with you. He will follow you. See, yes. Do not touch them. You leave them alone. Okay.
And be like, all right, yeah, okay, fella, hey, all right. And Hattie's just sort of like, oh, for goodness sakes, Chaz, it's just a paint monster, come on. and the two of them turn, and they will start heading back. And the paint creature will follow them.
Mm-hmm. They will be fine. I'm sure they will be fine. Where are we going?
We're looking for a river. Somewhere here in the Garden District.
You are sure it is in the Garden District?
Yes.
It looked like the Hanging Gardens of Babylon.
Oh, okay.
Remember the periscope, Luca? That the Wax King had me looking? You don't. Okay.
No.
There was a lot going on.
There was many things being discovered and it was very distracting. So, no. So, Hanging Gardens of Babylon, we should find these.
Well, that was my description of the Garden District.
Okay. I will follow you. You know what you are looking for.
Sure.
It's the only river in town.
Yep.
Everybody's favorite watering hole.
Somebody poisoned the water hole. Oh.
So
Lana will lead the way since Luca has prompted them to walk in a
Right.
direction.
no, certainly. So yeah. He basically I just this like part of me is just sort of thinking like, would I need to ask a question because this is relatively I need to ask Olivia a question. Was
Yeah.
Dawson vibrating sufficiently that this would have caused either of these kids concern?
I
Do you think?
Mm,
Like, would they have been like, "What, are you okay?" type stuff, or not? Do you think?
I'm gonna just roll a little fortune d6 and
Yeah.
see how well she locks this down.
They just sort of need to figure out if they're going to notice this or not, because just out of
I think it's noticeable. I think it's like she's noticeably tense. I don't think I think the vibrating is probably me hyperbolizing, but like I think she is noticeably like there's something
Yeah.
up.
So there'll be a thing where one of the kids they've gotten sort of the end of the alley, and Hattie's kind of been looking over her shoulder at you, and just sort of stops for a second. She just sort of whispers something to him and just sort of walks back for a second. She's like, "Are you folks all right? Are you okay, miss? You gonna be okay?"
Yeah, I just I am excited about the I'm just a big math fan.
Oh. We got... And she just sort of looks over and is like, we don't have too many of them. Yeah. I think the professor will probably be quite pleased. And
That's wild. There's such
think-
interesting and important things that can be done with math.
Oh, bloody hell. She just sort of glance over her shoulder and just be, right, yes, no, absolutely. Yeah. She just sort of walks backwards slowly. Just sort of seeing this reaction from Dawson.
Yeah, it's definitely a little like eyes
He's like,
extra wide and
okay.
like
She's seen the awake people before. She understands what is happening. to an extent, or thinks she does. She does not, but she thinks she does. She will back up and just sort of be like, and she's sort of whispering to Chaz on the way out. Probably no one hears this, but it's just sort of like, blimey, another one. And they start making their way away. Sorry, yes. You are heading further into the district to find the source of the river, if you can, or to find the river in the first place and figure it out. So you will, as you head in, you will see many. As you're starting to try to reach the center there, you're trying to reach the center of the garden district. Okay, now think about this. You're gonna run into the river before you run into the other thing. So okay. As you are moving, you go in a few blocks, and it actually doesn't take too terribly long. You'll see people on the street. There are people gardening, lots of people gardening here. Some of them sort of notice you and wave, and most of them just sort of keep to themselves. You kind of, as you get further in, you will notice that somewhere, where, there's some towers inside the district that have, like, what are probably bird people flying between them. But you will note that yeah. There's I think you're gonna see there's this sort of open air area where you see where you see very large tomatoes just kind of in these boxes. And you see this bright red individual who seems to be selling them. A person who appears to be like an anthropomorphic tomato almost. Though he looks slightly more human than you would expect an anthropomorphic tomato to look. Given these standard biological charts of anthropomorphic tomatoes. Right behind this sort of very long, wide stall, basically, where he's kind of he's giving sort of instructional, some kind of an instructional lecture to a bunch of these young vegetables, a bunch of young carrots, and celery and potato people. These individuals, by the way, they have arms and legs and faces, all of them. But other than that, a lot of them are just vegetables. Some are slightly more human-shaped than others. But they just sort of, they're just sort of all intensely just watching as he's talking about different growth techniques using different kinds of sun lamps, that kind of thing. Because it is always night here. And some vegetables just grow anyway. We're not sure how or why. But as you come up beyond this, you're hearing the sound of rushing water, and there's this big kind of a canal. Beyond which, the buildings look a little bit different. They look slightly older. and they're just covered in greenery, ivy and other sort of greenery, some of it darker. There is stuff growing over there, but there looks like sort of... There's something off about the vegetables on the other side of the river. There's a lot of, that you can see from here anyway, just this weird sort of darker shade. You can see there are some eggplant people just sort of sitting in lawn chairs chilling, but they look, chilling and smoking, but they look very kind of disheveled and very... very grim for whatever reason. They have yellowed eyes and sharp teeth. They're on the other side of the river. But you see the river. You see this, sort of, this water flowing through. It's about... It's not a very wide river, but it is wide enough to be a river. If you can imagine.
How deep is said river? I know it's wreaking havoc in the Wax Kingdom, but that just could mean it's fast flowing and not deep. You know what? I'm just gonna walk in.
You can see
I'm
the
gonna find
surface.
out.
Oh, you're gonna dive in?
Not literally dive. I'm gonna wade.
So it's a canal, first off.
Oh.
Which
Well,
means
I've committed.
you could jump in if you wish, or you could dangle over the side and try to, you know.
I'm not gonna jump in.
Okay.
I will, however, dangle.
Is it like I don't know. Are we talking Venice here or border of Arizona and Mexico? Like, is it?
It looks more natural than any. Yeah, it looks like this canal was like hastily built.
Okay.
Although, you know, in the amount of time the river showed up, you know, a person probably couldn't lay that much brick. But the Mad City probably did it. And compensate for the river.
Like, and so it's like flat, like the ground comes to either side. It doesn't like.
A little bit. It does. There is a little bit of a drop down to the surface of the river itself.
So we're not talking like giant LA, like, I can't think the word of what I'm trying to think of. Where the, like, water runoff goes. We're not talking like 10 foot drop, right?
It looks like it could be fairly deep. It's so wading in might be a possibility, but there will be a drop down into the water before you can see how deep it goes, is what I'm saying. It's also, it certainly might not be an ordinary river in the way these things are reckoned. But it's far enough across. I would say that
the tap.
Yeah. It did. This is not a river of Gatorade. But you can see the other side. You can see there are eggplant people on the other side, but they're pretty small right now from where you can see them. There are bridges. There are a couple of bridges that cross over this river. And it just sort of cuts right through the middle of the district as far as you can tell. You can look down to one end and you can see it. Well, the city is curved, so actually you eventually just see walls, right? The district is curved. So in either direction from here, you're in about the middle of the district. And
so
probably this is where one of the biggest bridges is over the river. There's actually, like, cars can go over this. Just a little ways down, you can look, and you walked in here from, like, an alley. And you can see there's a bridge that's a kind of a covered bridge that goes over the river, and some cars are going back and forth over it.
And just so I'm clear, you said canal and not dam, correct?
Yes.
Okay. Because for some reason in my head...
I might not even be using the term canal properly, but there is no dam here, I can tell you that.
But it's not just like a river that erodes its banks, it's built up a bit more than that.
Yeah, quay might be a better word here, actually. Quay. Might be a better term for what this actually is. Sort of you built up to make a solid riverside, basically.
Mm-hmm.
That you can walk on, that kind of deal. And it is flowing in a counterclockwise direction.
Right, because we're in circle world.
That means that it is flowing from the direction of District 13, correct?
So...
Oh no, District 13 is inner.
Is inside, yeah. So,
Okay.
but
So unless it like curved, yeah. Okay.
so it looks manicured, like somebody went out of their way to build this. This isn't like water springing from the earth and going of its own accord.
Yeah. Does look like it might have been artificially directed in some way.
And when we were on the top of the building and whatever the center is, did we see anything that would be on the side that might give us an indication as to who did it? Like what's around it and what might be, who might be the cause?
Well, the last time you were on top of a building was when you were at the re-education district. You weren't quite close enough to note if there was... You didn't see anything... You weren't close enough to see anything like that from where you were.
Okay. That is a fine answer. I was just trying to think. Do we know if there's a vegetable king?
You do not. You do not, anyway.
Oh,
Luca would
Lana will
know
post-
there are rumors that there's some kind of greater vegetable intelligence controlling this district, and that this district has been around for a long time. But it's not really
kind of
known.
Vegetable people? I'm just trying to like... Is there a nearby vegetable person?
There are many vegetable people nearby. And like I said, the closest are the people who are currently receiving instruction about the positioning and growth of tomatoes.
Okay. I'm not making the first move after the last time I made the first move.
Okay, where's the nearest vegetable?
Questions one never thought one would be asked in a game.
A question I've never asked in my life up to this point.
Fair. So the nearest vegetable. So the on the edge of the crowd is a what looks like an ear of corn. He's kind of at the back because he's taller. And he essentially is just sort of watching some of these other younger folk and just sort of watching and nodding at the presentation being given by the tomato person.
Okay. I will approach him and sort of like try to get his attention.
Okay. So, yeah, let me see. This area, yeah, he's got his fingers. He's got his arms crossed. He's got his his green bits are kind of form this odd sort of cloak around him. It looks kind of like almost a cloak of office type deal.
Mm-hmm.
Sort of. Not exactly, sort of. And just kind of got his arms crossed and is watching, and so you were approaching this person.
Mm-hmm. Scusi.
Hmm?
I am from the Penitence District. I am not familiar with this part of the city. I was wondering if you could tell me where to go to speak to whoever is in charge of this part of the district. I have a couple of questions.
And he's sizing you up right now, just kind of picking you up and down. So the pain of this interaction is going to be 3. That's the number of pain dice I'm going to be rolling.
I'll add 1 madness dice, just for fun.
All right. Oh, you got 3 successes.
Hey.
We know you're going to succeed. Let's see what happens. I got 3 successes as well.
Ooh.
So this is like just barely. No one has any 6s. Discipline is dominating right now. Which means then, Luca, let's see, do I want to spend any despair on this? I have so much despair.
Go for it, man. Go for it. You have so much despair. Enough to go around.
I'm gonna spend a coin of despair and make exhaustion dominate.
Okay.
So this is a kind of a tiring is going to be a tiring interaction for you a little bit. Mm-hmm. Because possibly, I mean, for any number of reasons, but I mean, part of it has to do with going over and talking to the nearest vegetable, probably. But that said, is like, let's see. How do ears of corn sound?
Brand new sentence, right there.
You sure you want to know that?
See, that's why I'm asking.
Because sort of looking from you to them. This is you know that you seem like a decent fella. I don't necessarily want to you might not want to get mixed up with some of the folks who are in charge of what I'm saying. You sure?
Yes, I am interested. Why? Is there something rotten going on?
And there's a pause, and he says, "No, we take rot very seriously here."
Oh, apologies. It is. My English is not very good. You.
No, that's fine, but I'm just saying it's you live here?
See, yes, I live in the Penitence District.
I see. First time coming out here?
To this district, yes.
All right, well, so here's the thing. It's, you see, we're sort of right here in the middle is kind of where the different outfits, it's kind of neutral territory.
Mm-hmm.
And, so kind of depends on which part of the district you got business in.
Are there different leaders for the 2 parts of the district?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Which one of them would have any information about the river, the canal?
Oh, this thing? This thing just cropped up where we were doing our best.
It just cropped up.
Yeah. We're trying to figure it out. We got some seers working on it right now, but we haven't quite pinned it down yet. Do you know something about this?
I know nothing. That's why I was hoping to talk to somebody in charge who might have more information about.
Well, I can tell you what I saw.
Okay.
When it came up, I was here, and it was just before we had to start doing. Evan's loving me. I just went on with the lesson today, regardless of what we had to do.
Who? This?
But he says, sort of gesturing to the tomato guy up front, the tomato farmer, and he comes back and he says, "But no, we got this. So it started just the ground broke apart during the 13th hour, and this thing just started flowing in from back from clockwise of here, as far as I can tell. And we ain't exactly sure what happened. What I saw is I was pretty close to the clockwise edge at the time, and it just started breaking through, and I haven't really traveled.
It originated in this district here, or it came from whatever district was.
Well, yeah, it might have come from the Shadow District. It kind of
the Shadow District.
Yeah, just that settled with us. Shadow District's had us kind of pinned in for a while. It was between we were between it and Necropolis, and it just didn't want to let us go this time. Seems like. Now, from what I hear, we're now jammed up against the Industrial District on the other side. But as far as we can tell, this thing flows from the Shadow District all the way up to the Industrial District. And they had a hell of a kerfuffle up there after it happened, from what I hear. They were not prepared for this to happen. It's messing up their spiritual well-being, let's say.
But you think it started in the Shadow District?
Probably. Trouble is, we can't really, much as we try, we can't see into it. We've got, like I said, we got our seers kind of working on it, but they're having trouble.
Your seers cannot see into the Shadow District.
No. You think that's the Shadow Crone is, let's just say she tends to be a bit opaque about these things.
Well, that explains why you can't see it.
Yes, that's what I said.
Yes. So, thank you, grazie, for the information. This is now we must. Now I know more. Thank you. You may return to your. What is he talking
I
about?
gotta watch these kids, make sure they don't go running off. The Vegemob hands us these guys to just kind of take care of sometimes, and I gotta tell you, it's an uphill battle. They are devils, all of them.
These are. But what is? Is there a story with the? He'll point to the eggplants that are like with the sharp teeth.
Oh, them. Don't know if they were quite. It's funny because we always had. They're the. They get. They've always been a bit shady, but the thing is that they are now there, since this river came in, I don't know, there's something about the look of them, I don't know, they haven't, we're trying to set up something to talk to them, to have some kind of a, just sort of have talks, just to see where they're at now, but they're,
Did they drink from the water? Is that why they are like this? Has
Yeah, I
anybody else had a drink from the water?
we kind of put the kibosh on that over this side, but I don't think they're doing that over that side.
Okay.
And goodness knows what it's doing to well, I can't say, but let's just say they're those that they work for on that side have. I'll tell you quite frankly. I don't know if I don't know exactly what's going to happen. I mean, they're probably going to be able to handle whatever it is gets thrown at them, but that thing becomes more corrupted. We're going to have some serious problems on our hands.
Corrupted?
No, I can't say, but let's just say there are forces on the other side of the river that just don't want to see him up and running around too much.
Okay. Well, you've been very helpful. Thank you. This is all very good information. And I'll leave him to his devices, and I assume everybody heard everything that he extrapolated. Okay.
I think you folks could have been close enough to sort of clinging on, carefully watching Luca having this conversation with a giant ear of corn.
They were all ears.
I mean, it's just this one, really. He's the only ear of corn here. Most of them are carrots. But
I think there were some kernels of truth to what he had to tell us.
It's really hard to say. I mean, he didn't seem to be trying to obfuscate anything. But
I just really wanted to make her colonel.
I mean, we do not know his rank in his organization. He has not specified that.
We also didn't ask.
But you did not ask. You had to guess.
He was just happy to give us some information. Yeah. So, what am I gonna like?
He does seem to bear some kind of
rank to give me this info. I don't think so.
He seems to have some kind of rank in his organization from the way that he is dressed, but it's hard to say exactly what his organization is. They seem to know magic of some kind. That's all we know. Magical corn.
So apparently there is something going on the other side of the river with their government, and they think that the river came from the Shadow District with the crone, the witch, and that she is either the cause of this or has information that she is withholding about the cause of this. So is any Lila or Dustin, have either of you ever been to the Shadow District?
Was there a Shadow District here last time you folks were here? I don't think there was.
I don't remember.
Actually, I can tell you for a fact there wasn't. No, there was not.
So.
And Luca, I can tell you the Shadow District has only been here since around the time that you visited.
Okay.
As far as it's only from what you had heard after you came back in, the city the geography of the city changed, and there was now a Shadow District, and people seemed to be surprised by this. So apparently it was new at the time you entered.
Right. I've never visited, though, because for some reason my wife and child never wanted to leave the Penitence District.
I don't know. Yeah, it's strange that.
Wouldn't exist outside of it. It's weird.
Yeah.
I don't know.
This odd thing.
All I know is that the stranger sort of warned us about the Shadow Crone being super powerful and dangerous.
Sure, but maybe we can talk to her. Maybe she has common sense we can, take advantage of.
Maybe.
Lana, did you have something?
I had an out of character question.
Oh.
The stranger Was the guy who gave us the card.
Yes.
Okay. I just wanted to... Thank you. Well, I, for one, don't want to be indebted to the Wax King forever. So, if I have to go alone to the Shadow Crone, then that's what I'm going to do.
I mean,
For the rest of you.
Absolutely not.
Yeah. Do we need to go to her to... I mean, find out where this is we know it's coming from the Shadow District. Will he just... Like, that's...
I feel like that's the, like, bare minimum of information.
That seems great.
I mean, if it's coming from the Shadow District, then it makes sense that we would have to go to the Shadow District and speak to someone in charge there.
Here's my thought.
Follow it
You're
to the
probably-
source and hope we don't run into anyone in charge there.
Yeah, I think that's probably a better hope. One. And two, I think the more information we can get, the better, so that we don't end up in rural United States in the middle of nowhere on a highway where there's no gas stations within like 20 miles. He might not be able to like make a door to a location, but that doesn't mean one that isn't going to float by his purview that would ruin our days.
Yeah, I mean, that makes sense.
Fair consideration for going home.
I'd end up in the country after being in this city all night.
I will
But
I will
yes,
mention.
the Wax
go ahead.
King would probably appreciate as much information as we can find.
Lana, you
Yes.
are aware, suddenly. Actually, you were kind of aware of this when it happened. But you're reminded that the terms of the contract, which are bound up in the bracelet and can, you realize, appear in your head at any time you wish. The terms of the contract specify the source of the river. And they define the source of the river as one would define the source of a river if one were to, say, look it up.
So we don't need to necessarily know who's causing it. We just need to know where it starts.
You
is what
need
you're
to
saying.
know the headwater. You need to find the headwaters of the stream, the farthest place that river from its estuary or downstream confluence with another river.
So what you all see as Lana is making this realization, it looks as though she's like almost scanning like a document. So we have to go to the Shadow District. We need to find the headwaters. It is very explicitly written out in the contract. But we don't necessarily need to know who's causing it, although we have a good idea of who might be involved. So, like, added bonus information on that one, guys?
All right.
And you said it flows counterclockwise.
Yes.
So
Which means it does flow from the direction of the Shadow District.
that was Lana's thought. Follow it the opposite direction. Or Lana's thought was to follow it the opposite, like, direction
We
of the
walk
direction.
upstream.
Well, I want to go upstream. the thought.
Yes.
I'm thinking too hard and not making any sense. Lana starts walking. Whatever you all do afterwards is up to you.
To the Shadow District.
Sounds like a fun plan.
Delightful.
So, the 5 of you start, I presume, following the river. You follow it in a clockwise direction. Past, once again, more of these buildings, more vegetable people, more animal people, more people. Lots of them farmers or gardeners. Until you come to the intersection, not even the intersection, it's the road, the major road that crosses as you come to the edge of the garden district. And you can see from here that while the road is still at the same level, the river does flow under it. It has become a bridge over this river, which you can see across the street. You see the somewhat medieval, somewhat Renaissance-ish. It's a mix of older styles. But every building is draped in shadow. And you will proceed across the street and into the Shadow District. And I think that is where we're going to take a break. We're good with that. All right. We will be back shortly, and we'll see what happens in the Shadow District. See you folks shortly. We have returned. And our people who are terribly, terribly awake have entered the Shadow District. It is dark in the Shadow District. Even darker than in other places in the city. There are sources of light. There are, as you walk in along this riverbank, the river looks much more natural in here. The sources of light you see... Whoa. The sources of light you see are going to involve... somewhat going to involve stars, but the stars in question are... When you look up at them from inside this district, look perhaps a tiny bit different. Hard to say, really, what might be going on. And, so it is, it's hard to say. It's not that they're exactly, it's either they seem more muted, basically. There is, something to the effect that they are, it's like light doesn't travel as far in here. Sound doesn't seem to travel quite as far in here. You hear things distant and echoing. You're walking through some kind of a... what seems like an old city. There are shops along the side, on your side. On the other side, the riverbank looks a bit more natural. You do see up ahead there are bridges going back and forth. There are people here. Every now and then you see people sort of ahead of you who will, and they seem to be dressed kind of like medieval peasants, a lot of them. Some of them are better dressed. Some of them look more like Renaissance era. There's still a range of eras here, but the range trends earlier. There are more modern looking things of clothing here as well. Not much in the way of vehicles. Not cars, anyway. You see wagons, a lot of things like that. Most of the people that you see, well, they come in a couple of different varieties. Obviously, you have, again, all kinds of people, and people who look like humans, and people who look like humanoid creatures. But then you'll also see people that are draped entirely in shadow. Out sort of slipping, wandering back and forth every now and then. Cross bridges. The people that you see that look human, often if they see you approaching, are going to just sort of like turn and then quickly go inside. You're following the river. You will see at some point, as you've gotten a little bit into this district, on the opposite bank, you weren't sure at first, but it's like part of the opposite bank is moving, like something on the opposite bank is moving. Sort of slithering about. Looks kind of big. You're not entirely sure. It's about the size of a, like a timber wolf, maybe.
Does it look like
But
it's
slithering.
But slithering.
sort of like following or keeping pace with us, or it's just there?
The more you watch it, the more you realize it is keeping pace with you.
Okay.
And you see there are, and you do note that you are coming up to a bridge. You're going to pass a bridge soon. And I'm curious to know if you're going to continue ahead or if you're going to do anything else.
Lana does not intend to do anything unless it makes the first move.
Yeah. I agree.
You continue forward. You're getting to a point that you are on the same block as the bridge. It's a stone bridge, spanning sort of in an arch-like fashion across this river. You're on the same block. You're heading toward where the bridge is, and you will note on the opposite bank, the creature speeds up. It makes this sort of, with its head, possibly. You're not sure how many legs this thing has. You can't see it very well. But it seems that a few others detach from the shadows and follow it, smaller ones, slightly.
Good. Good. This is good.
And it's very quickly, as you're approaching the bridge, starting to head across it.
Do we stop? Do we make a stand here? Or,
How about we run?
I mean, we have to go that way, though.
So they're on the bridge?
Yes, they have slithered onto the bridge, and they are rapidly moving across it.
Okay. I know I said I wasn't going to make the first move, but they've clearly made their intent to come our direction. So I would argue this is self-defense. Lana's going to run up to it and try to kick it, like, away.
That sounds
And
safe.
keep running.
So let's see.
All of us just like,
Slithering
what are you
centipede
doing?
creature the size of a timber wolf, and you're gonna go up and punt this thing. That's
Yes.
okay.
So
That
This
bringing
beast.
That YouTube guy.
It's a wild TikTok prank, or TikTok stunt.
I should film it and send it to him.
I'd be pretty, yeah, they'd be amused by that. I'm gonna mention something to Lila just in case. I don't know if you were there for this,
Okay.
but I'm seeing something, and I just need to know if you have also seen this.
Okay.
There was a time when a group of awake people were in the underground, running through the sort of sewer areas, being somewhat pursued by Mr. Sphinx. And he had a creature like this on the end of a leash. Were you in that group?
I'm not sure. I know we went underground, and then we were running up some stairs, and there was a path that almost ran into somebody that we briefly saw. And then we found another doorway, but
I think that might have been
remember who
it.
it was.
That might have been it. Yeah.
This feels familiar.
Yeah. Who's leading one of these things? In this one, now I'm trying to even just remember back a month or two ago. And this is mostly for Lila and Dawson.
Lila was there when we ran into Mr. Sphinx, and
Do you have any of these things with him?
No.
Okay.
I don't think so.
He was with
Had
some
it's drunk
guys.
and we don't know
Faceless
what we
people.
had drunk.
Yeah.
Okay. Just getting my history in order here. Lila, there's a possibility you've seen one of these things before.
Okay.
But yeah, you didn't get close to it. Certainly not this close.
Oh.
Lana is running up to try to punch the one in front.
Kick.
Or kick,
But yes.
sorry. Kick the one in front. The one that's about the size of a timber wolf. Running across the bridge. There are... Let's see. How many did I say there were? There's the one in front. And then it has about... we'll say it's got like 2 or 3 pals with it. Smaller pals. And so... What is your intention in kicking this creature?
I just want to get it out of our way, or out of my way, I guess, since likely no one else is following.
So you want it to retreat is kind of what you're trying to do.
Or just be
Maybe scare it
stunned
off?
long enough for me to get across the bridge. That also works.
Well, the bridge, you don't have to go across the bridge to
bridge.
continue following the river if you don't want to.
Oh.
You're on one side of the river, say the right-hand side of the river as you're facing currently. They were on the left-hand side of the river.
They're just coming to cut us off, and we need to go past them.
Yes.
Then that changes my intention slightly.
Okay.
But my intention is, yeah, I guess, to be the bigger predator, so to speak. Rawr.
You come up at them like this?
No, absolutely not.
Okay. So what do you want? So
or
are
I
you
guess-
still going to go and kick them, or what are you going to do?
Yes. Yes.
Okay.
The idea being that I want to be a distraction.
Right now you're focusing on the one in front. Its pain is 7.
Yep. Cool. I'm gonna add some madness to this roll. I'm going to do... five madness.
Okay. Dee-dee-dee-dee. You have 5 successes.
Mm-hmm.
I have 4 successes. It looks like exhaustion is dominating.
Nope.
So,
Feels about right.
this is very running, kicking, and this thing does not have a nose, so you cannot catch it across the nose. As it is coming across, you see it. You see it in this dim lamplight. It's... I would not call it amorphous. But it has a number of legs sticking out of it
Mm-hmm.
as it comes forward. And it sort of has... Its head is is a little bit maybe tentacly. It's hard to really see. And you come up and you kick this thing. And it very quietly is like sort of rears back on some of its hind legs.
Mm-hmm.
And it's kind of like... And you don't exactly hear anything, but it's very... because this thing is silent. But it sort of waves some of its front legs. And goes around this... and starts going around the side and down to under the bridge.
Well, that was an unforeseen tactic.
Yeah, as soon as it like rears back, I'm gonna go. It was not full running, but probably just like, okay, guys, time to leave.
Lana has distracted their leader. The others are coming.
Lana, let's go.
Yeah, it might be a good idea to get out of here.
Well, yeah. I think in this moment, Lana turns tail and runs.
Okay. Tired, very tired. Okay. They're coming. They're coming.
Mm-hmm.
As they're kind of trying to follow you. You're all racing past. And you're running along the river. And do you try to do anything to lose these creatures? Do you just try to outrun them, or do you try to do something else? I think Dawson was in front, probably, because you were the first to say you were running. But anyone may, of course, contribute. I think you're muted.
Oh, I wasn't actually saying it.
Oh, okay. I'm sorry. I apologize. I thought I saw your mouth moving.
It did, because I went,
I'm gonna presume then you're just trying to outrun them, if there's nothing else happening.
I think unless they're actively chasing, I think it's just we're now moving with purpose.
Yeah, they are trying to they're kind of chasing you. Kind of. You might be able to get out of their sight, however they see, you're not sure. I am going to, so this is going to be a pain of 6 to try to escape the rest of these things.
Is that everyone is rolling?
Well, I need one person to lead, and then everyone else can contribute if they wish.
I can lead because I would also like to do some timey-wimey stuff.
Ah! This is fair. So,
I don't know that Lana can help. Like, Lana is close, but Lana is definitely, like, lagging behind the rest of the group.
Yeah. They're, like, coming along.
Luca can help because she's played with metronomes.
Luca can help if all else fails.
Faster or slower.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm gonna try to. Well, I'll lead the chase, and I'm also going to try to create. Instead of focusing on like specific things, because we don't know how many of them there are, I'm gonna try to create like a vortex or a specific spot that, like, as these things run into it or like crawl past it, it just like completely it just creates like a slow radius,
a slow time pocket. Cool. Cool.
Time pocket.
And Dawson is casting Irden, basically.
Yeah. Yes. Yeah.
Let's see, slow time pocket.
I wish I could like do the Yurden thing and just like get him with it.
Let's see. I think this feels like this might require, as a big catch-all, kind of requires some concentration though, but it is a thing you're just sort of, and it's going to be at least 3 madness. I think to be able to do this.
I'll do.
Yes, you can do up to 6.
I'm going to bump. Can you only bump your exhaustion up by 1?
That is correct. Yeah,
Okay,
one at a
that's what I
time
thought.
before you roll.
Well, I will do that, and then I am going to add. I'll throw in like an extra. I'll do 4 madness.
Righto. Okay. Anyone who wants to help may, of course, do so. The results will come down on them, however. Keep that in mind.
Yeah, I think Dustin will help. Yeah, I think it'll be one of those kind of things where, as we're running, Dustin's just constantly looking for something to grab and kind of like toss.
Yeah.
In their general direction, sort of.
Okay.
Throw things at them to kind of direct,
Yeah.
distract them.
Sure.
Is
No, that's...
Dustin, quote unquote, knocking over the bookshelves in a chase scene to stop the guy
Yeah.
running after you?
Knocking
out
over the bookshelves, the stacks of crates. Yeah.
fruit carts, people carrying panes of glass back and forth across the street, same thing. Yeah, that kind of thing.
Yeah.
What is Lila doing to help?
Is going to she's going to strike her tuning fork and touch it to the ground near the spot where once we shoo Lana ahead and Dawson's focusing on a spot behind us. Lila's gonna turn around, touch her tuning fork to the ground, and sort of shake up the terrain just a little.
Cool. All right. Awesome. And so, if Dustin is also helping, you can also roll, and we'll use your discipline from that.
All right.
Or if you'd prefer to do it analog, you can just roll three dice.
It should come up here in just a second here.
Okay.
There we go.
There, what?
Ah, excellent. Okay, I'm going to roll my dice. 2, 3, 4. You've got 5 successes right now. I have 4 successes. And looking at the pools that matter here,
Like pain.
pain is in fact dominating, yes. Let's see. Do I want to cause unrest? I do. I shall spend a coin to add a... Well, actually, hold off. Before I do that, let me check. Yes, this will work. Will it work? No, it will not work. Never mind, I will keep looking at the wrong pool. That will work. Yes, let's do that. I'm going to spend a coin to add a 6 to the Madness pool, as you have 4s and 5s in there, and that will make Madness dominate. So this means that Dawson and Lila and Dustin must each check off a response. Anyone run out of responses yet? Of curiosity? Okay.
I have.
What are we checking?
Yes.
I only have one thing to check.
Yeah, fight.
All right.
Fight? Fight? Okay.
Right.
All right. So, you're gonna be successful. This zone, this time pocket, opens up. Are there any special effects we need to note? How does this look?
I think it literally, like, I don't think it looks like anything. It's a completely, it's non-opaque. But I think just like as soon as they hit it, it's like running into a big vat of molasses suddenly. Or yeah, like all as their body like goes into it, slithers into it, it suddenly begins to slow. And it probably like the back ends of them like kind of crunch up against it because they're moving faster than the front ends, and like
Yeah, so they hit that. They hit this thing. They're all moving very slowly. You all could easily outrun them at this point. I am curious, however, for those of you who have checked off your fight responses, are there, how are we reacting? Are there any particular targets for your ire?
I think Dawson keeps running and goes, Lana, what the hell is your problem? Why would you do that? You had no idea what that thing was, and it's just gonna like go off on Lana. Sorry.
I don't think Lana said anything at the moment.
You're not gonna say anything? I just like as we're moving on.
Lana has been in many a room. Well, okay, she's not a defense attorney. Lana has questioned many a defendant or many a witness at this point in her life that like someone going on or been in a room with during an arraignment and having people go, Lana just duck in water.
Typical.
Although, no, Lana's not. Lana is just running. I caused a distraction, so we could get through.
A lot of adrenaline happening all around right now.
Yep. And I'm glad we're getting through. Now run and shut up.
As you are all running, and I think that Lila and Dustin, of course, are similarly consumed with adrenaline. Luca is not as much, and therefore is able to observe something.
Mm-hmm.
And this is the kind of thing that it takes an artist's eye to observe, I think. The way that the air kind of curls with shadowy substance here. You notice that the way that it behaves almost changes a little bit as Dawson and Lana are arguing.
Mm-hmm.
It's kind of like... You're not thinking the shadows are sentient necessarily. But it's like they're some kind of a medium and their anger is painting on it a little bit. It's like it kind of feeds off of their... It's like it's kind of feeding off of this bubbling up to the surface. Just the way that it seems to, just the patterns in the air change, you notice, around them when they have this exchange.
Mm-hmm.
Fermatevi! Hey, both of you! Fermatevi, stop this! You are making it worse. This bad energy that you are making here is making this worse. Stop. We have to be... Just look forward. Get to where we are going. No fighting. We have too many things to fight without fighting amongst ourselves, okay? See?
I think Luca gets a glare from Lana.
Hey.
Yeah. I don't think Dawson says anything. You're just... Yeah. You're not my real dad.
Oh no!
Do we completely lose
Yeah,
Lila
you
and Dustin?
Oh no, you
Or-
don't completely lose. No, they're with you.
I
okay.
just mean, like, what are they fighting?
Yeah, that's true. Where is your ire directed, Lila and Dustin?
And Lana is a valid target. Just saying.
I think Lila.
There are also things and people here and what have you, if you feel like it.
is, doing what she usually does, you know, in a professional situation and just trying to tamp it down, but, you know, seething on the inside.
Yes. 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 Gotta let that build.
Not that that's any better, but.
How's Dustin handling it?
Dustin is mainly focused on the whatever it is that is, behind us now. That's kind of so it's the finding whatever, tossing it back, taking a moment.
Yeah, you're just throwing things now. You're not even sure if there's still something following you. You're just grabbing stuff and throwing it.
Yeah. So it's just as far as those two with their little spat going back and forth, it's just kind of like an eye roll kind of thing.
Yeah. As you all continue running, you note that the sound of your running changes because, and again, it's this slightly distant echoing that you hear because all sound in here is a little distant. It's like you're running on wooden boards. Wooden planks. And as you're looking up, you notice the buildings are starting to look slightly more modern. And there are lamps here. Electric lamps. Along this area. And I now need to ask an out-of-character question. Of your characters, because this is a geography question in a way. It has to do with, I need to know if any of your characters have spent a considerable amount of time in Oregon.
No. Well, maybe. I am from Seattle.
It's possible, but I just need to know.
I don't think Dawson has, which makes me very sad because I've spent a considerable amount of time in Oregon.
I think Lana probably does not, because Lana probably doesn't take more than like a day or two of vacation ever.
Okay.
Because DA's office in a big metropolitan area.
That's absolutely fair.
I think it's possible that Dustin has, being as how some of his previous work was with game companies. There's a lot of game companies in the Pacific Northwest. Mm-hmm. So yeah, I think work could have taken him out in that direction.
Okay. I'm gonna presume Luca probably has not, but it is possible.
No, I think he's just been in that one
Yeah.
little like corner of
Kansas.
Kentucky. Was it Kansas? Yeah.
I think it was Kansas. Lila, have you been up there?
She's probably in a similar
Situation to Dustin?
situation with Dustin, because
Yeah.
she did work on some gaming stuff as well.
You're in Alaska,
She's
which
done
also
some
is
conventions and stuff.
yeah, kind of an up there. So, have either Lila or Dustin, have either of you been to Portland for a time? Like long, not just like passing through the airport, but long enough to hang out a bit.
Yeah, why not?
Okay.
You know, may have actually been like part of like a job interview or something. So
you are going to there are a couple of things that you will note. One is that as you approach this area, this is kind of reminding you a little bit. This is reminding you of the boardwalk by the river in Portland, Oregon. That's one thing that you're going to note. It looks a lot like it, actually. And the other thing, there are people here, but a lot of them are sort of shadowy. And some of them look like they have these metal masks on. And they're wearing like hoods, cloaks, things like that. They're going back and forth. You see ahead of you, you hear water rushing, by the way. And there is, it feels like just not far ahead of you, you'll see, it gets mistier. But it sounds like the water starts roaring a bit more. You think you're getting closer to the source, possibly? But it's harder to see. It's getting harder to see. This is sort of the mist combines with the shadow in the air. There is, however, ahead of you, sort of on your right as you're heading up this way, there is most of the lights are kind of guttering. There is one building where the lights are a little brighter. And you kind of, where at least the light's coming out, shining out through the window. They're still, like, don't get me wrong, they're still dimmer than, you know, one might like. But lights are a little bit brighter. There's a sort of awning over this sort of decrepit looking, not even decrepit looking, but this older looking, it's kind of, it looks like a coffee house. Those of you who've been to Portland might actually even recognize that it looks like one that's been there for some time. And you vaguely hear the sounds of actually kind of heavy metal coming from it.
Okay.
Now, it's up to you if you want to investigate this or not, or if you want to just keep going. But
Well, I did
there is
sort of
activity in there.
hear Ozzy Osbourne talking to me over my earpiece a
You
little
did.
while ago.
You actually did. Yes, that is true.
could check it out. Somebody here might know something.
This feels out of place.
It really is. This part of the district is really incongruous with the rest of the district that you've been in.
Lila, I mean this.
Out of place things from the Mad City show up in other places. Does it kind of feel like that?
I'm gonna need. I'm sorry.
Maybe.
You need a little more context. I'm sorry. Were you asking me that, or were you speaking in character?
Out of character.
Okay. What was the question?
So does it feel like we've seen places and like doors and people and things like start to cross over from the Mad City into
Right.
the city slumbering? Does it feel like the reverse can happen?
This would be the first you'd ever seen of that. Really. I mean, well,
Aside from, just random
maybe.
people going through doorways. They shouldn't.
Yeah, it's hard to say. I should point some. Well, if this comes up, I don't know if Dawson's going to be thinking about this or not, but I should point something out also that appears in the book. It has been said that sometimes it seems like pieces of the city slumbering do sometimes end up in the Mad City.
I don't know, because she doesn't recognize this specifically as being a specific city. I don't know that she mentioned it.
Yeah. Obviously, the river is not as big as the Willamette, but the boardwalk looks a lot like it. Anyway, what are you folks doing?
Lila, I'm gonna say my following statement. With the most love and admiration, but I'm not following you in there, because the last time I followed you into a building, it was a trap.
We could use some lookouts out here. Maybe part of the group stays out here to make sure nothing tries to sneak up, and the other part of the group can go inside the coffee house, see what's going on in there.
You also will note.
Her, she's just gonna get me into a fight.
Yeah. Sorry, go ahead.
I don't know. Yeah. What were you gonna say, Jim? Because I don't know if anyone was about.
Yeah,
Oh.
I don't think anybody's talking.
Okay. You did note that as you approach, that there's more of a cluster of these hooded people further ahead of you, and so it's probably you're going to have to encounter them probably if you go past. But they are past the coffee house. So if you wanted, you could duck into the coffee house before going and trying to figure out how to get past them, but it is up to you.
Feels significant. Give me 5 minutes. And if I don't come back out, I don't know, come get me or go without me, whatever.
I think Dustin's gonna go in as well.
Yeah. All right.
5 minutes, Lila, and I'm coming in and dragging you out.
Fine.
Oh. Lana is staying outside. Lila and Dustin are going in. Is anyone else going in?
I think I'd go in too.
Okay.
I'll stay out here with Lana.
Okay. Luca and Lana stay outside
We're
to
out
keep
of trouble.
I think as we start to go in, there's a moment where Dustin pauses at the door and looks at Lila, and it's just kind of like, let's just not ask for a cup of joe.
I don't plan on it. I've seen what happens when people drink coffee.
The name of this cafe, the name of this place is the Desiccated Lion Coffee House, as far as you can tell from the sort of... And it's got this weird sort of goth metal font on the awning. Looks like it's been recently painted up there, actually. As though maybe the name of the cafe has changed recently. As you enter, you see that this place looks... There's still a lot of the place in here is draped in shadows. There are not a lot of people in here. But there are a few. A couple of folks are just sort of chatting in the corner. They're dressed fairly modernly. A few folks and a few other folks in another corner. There are some old and lumpy looking couches in here. Little tables. There's a bar kind of in the back corner, and beyond it a door that goes into a kitchen. There are a bunch of posters on the wall that look like they're kind of hard to see. Some of them, they're sort of weird and distorted, old faded, like posters of metal bands. Some of them you recognize. There are TV monitors in here. That it looks like there are sort of old sort of punk videos playing. Behind the bar, there is this guy he looks like he's in his, looks like he's in his 50s maybe. But he has the sort of hair pattern where it's like he's tried to maintain a mohawk in the past. But right now he's not maintaining it terribly well. Sort of more pulled back. He's wearing dark leather, studded leather. His eyes are a little hollow. He's got he's got the thing where it's, he's got the spiky beard. And he just sort of looks up. How can I help you?
Has this place been here long?
That's a good question. Not sure what I can tell you. It's, I don't know. I've been, I think, yeah, it's always been here. Yeah. He says, his demeanor kind of changing a little bit. I'm sorry, what, did you want to order something, or, can I help you folks with something? And he's sort of starting to wipe down the bar. It is a little weird because it looks like he was trying to remember something for a second, and then he just sort of fell into a pattern.
Do either of you two want anything?
I mean, we only have 5 minutes, so it'd have to be a shot.
Shots I can do.
Yeah, I'm actually Dawson. Yeah, why not? Do you know about the river's new though, right? Like right outside.
The river. I mean, river's always been. Has it always been? Wait a minute. I mean, this place has been by the river for the last 30. When did I open this? You see he's having trouble.
Yeah.
But you're mentioning that
You
is...
seem a bit tired.
What? I don't get tired.
You seem a bit tired, friend.
I don't get... I'm gonna... I think actually what we're gonna do here... So there is a... Well... I need to find out... Is there a particular tactic you're taking here to try to...
I mean,
do
the
something
ordering of the drink opens... I don't think Dawson's super experienced at this, but I've seen movies that opens the covenant of the information exchange between bartender and bartendee. So I think, just trying to be like, we're tourists.
Yeah.
Give that vibe.
You can see there's something that sometimes he struggles to remember and sometimes he falls into a pattern. I think what I'd like to do, this is going to be weird, me asking for a roll here, but I kind of want more information. Because of the circumstances here. And some of the results of this may unfold over this conversation. We'll see. Let me set a pain rating for this. Because of what it is that a mysterious roll is about to happen that will hopefully inform the fiction. The pain rating of this interaction, where more things possibly might happen, is, strangely enough, going to be 7. There's a reason why the pain rating is 7. I cannot tell you why yet.
Okay. Then I'm going to up my exhaustion because being socially interacting is terrible.
Oh yeah.
Hate it.
Yeah.
And I'm gonna throw some madness on there, I guess.
Okay.
I'm gonna throw... Let's do, like, 2. Yeah.
Okay.
Assist with my soft skills if you want.
Please.
Yeah. I felt like Dustin was helping, and if Lila wants to help, you can also help.
Oof.
You've got 4 successes thus far.
Yeah.
And another 2 successes, so that's 6. I'm gonna roll my dice. I only got 2 successes, so you got 4 more than me, which is significant. Checking out what's dominating.
Pain.
Yeah, pain's dominating. So this will be painful.
Great.
So let us proceed. But it's going to be wildly successful in a moment. He's like, Yeah, I'm sorry. What can I get you?
Whatever your favorite shot to make is.
Oh man, it's been a long time, since I've been able to, some of the. It's kind of hard sometimes for some of the folks to take what I can put together. I've got some vermouth back there. You sure? Coffee and vermouth.
Yeah.
Around. And he's going to, and it's like he sort of falls into this rhythm as he's doing it. He grabs a bottle from underneath the counter that's hidden. He's going to pour one for himself too. He's right. Flancha.
I think he was cheersing, but yeah.
Yeah, he shakes his head. But he tosses it back. Anyone who tosses this back, this drink hurts. But it's also got coffee in it, which is delightful. There's like a shot of espresso in there. He's like, no, ha 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 ha. You can call me. It was on the tip of my tongue. God damn it! I almost remembered my name. Fuck. What the hell is happening?
That's what we're trying to find out.
Yeah, we want to know about the river and what's going on here.
Yeah,
Pick this guy up. Oh,
it's on the tip of my tongue. It's on the tip of my tongue. The river. What do you see out there? You mind telling me what you see out there?
Looks like Portland.
Thank you. It's supposed to be Portland. That's not Portland out there, is it?
No.
I didn't think so. Shit. Oh God. Oh God. Yeah, they grabbed me. Grabbed me. And
Who grabbed you?
these goddamn slithering things, this freaking, I don't know, they're dogs or something?
We've seen them.
And you see kind of he sort of is starting to lean in conspiratorially so that none of the other customers hear. And some of them are sort of looking over, and he's like, "Hey, you need anything? No? Okay, good. Listen, I don't know exactly what the hell's got. My name is Reg. My name's Reg. Okay? I don't know how the hell I got here. I had maybe a few customers in here earlier. I want to say earlier tonight.
Yeah.
And there were regulars, and I was serving them, and then all this black mist just showed up in front of the goddamn coffee house, started cracking the glass, and then next thing I know, I get dragged into the kitchen by some kind of goddamn tentacle. I remember that, and then oh shit.
They didn't just take you, they took the whole shop.
Somebody was laughing. I heard her laughing. And then I don't know what the hell's going on, but there was a lot of rumbling and cracking, and I found myself here. She grabbed part of the river, I think.
Yeah.
She grabbed my my business, my house. I don't know how much else I haven't left here. I haven't been able to. You know what the hell's going on?
No. No, we don't. That's what we're trying to find out.
I want to get out of here. Look for a door that doesn't.
Okay. Yeah, I can try and do that. I think they're watching. It's gonna take... Those metalheads outside, I know if I keep seeing them, they come in. Oh, hell. Look.
It's gonna get complicated.
We gotta get you out of here. There's... I don't know exactly what the hell is going on. But... And this place was my livelihood, and I think for the last
with this world.
few hours I've just been behaving like I was always here, but I... Sort of leans forward. Chess, what is this place?
It's an alternate universe.
Oh, is that all? You will note,
Yeah.
those of you that the TV behind him on the wall. Briefly, there's static for a moment. You see Ozzy Osbourne, sort of like on stage in the middle of a concert. He just kind of stops and he just sort of looks out at you. He shakes his head and he taps his watch. And he points over your heads.
We're gonna turn around and look to see what's behind us.
Outside this coffee house. Let's move outside the coffee house real quick.
Lana is literally pacing and probably at this point has started to make a divot in whatever the ground is. Assuming
Lana,
it's not like
Luca.
asphalt.
You're standing watch.
Mm-hmm.
There is a moment. Well, you've been out here for a few minutes. It's not quite 5 minutes yet. And then you will note that these people that have been walking back and forth on either side of you there's some sort of drifted in, sort of been walking back and forth to your left. I'm assuming at this point you're sort of, as if you're facing the river, say. There are some to your left. There are some to your right. Good half a dozen maybe on each side. These people, shrouded people. They stop. They stop. And, honestly, everyone can hear this. They stop, and as one, they turn their heads in your direction. And the masks they are now wearing, their faces they are now wearing, look like metallic skulls. And they start moving toward you. Some are pulling out chains. Some are pulling out metal claws. Some are pulling out hatchets or machetes. And the metal that they're made of looks sort of chrome-like, really. It's the same as their faces. They're kind of like half ghost, half biker, almost, you might say. And they're all approaching, forming kind of almost like a semicircle, really, around the front of this place. And they're moving in.
Do they seem to be looking at us or at the place?
They are looking at you right now. At both of you.
Listen, we are just stopping for our friend is just stopping for a cup of coffee. We don't want any problems, no harm. We will
The one
be
with the
leaving.
chain starts swinging it around.
Look,
That is not necessary.
yeah, there is no need for that. We think your target is not here. This isn't the droids you're looking for.
They are, as one, going to start surging forward. This is also the moment that this is what has been noticed. As you sort of turned around, you see there, inside the coffee house. You look and you see through the glass these figures approaching and starting to descend on Lana and Luca. What's everybody doing?
Gotta go.
Knee-jerk reaction. I'm gonna do the loudest, like, horse whistle that I possibly can.
Mm-hmm.
And hope that, where's my friend? It's been a while.
That's true. It has been a little while. Your friend was going to bring back a response, I think, from
Yeah.
from the
he just
professor.
needed to talk to the professor.
Yeah.
I like the idea that he just manifests, like, to use another Witcher reference, Roach, like when you do the whistle, like
He's on the roof, like
oh. How did you even get up there?
Okay. So you are, so I'll know. Are you trying to summon and sick the paint creature on these beings? Is that what's happening?
Well, it's a dual sort of like a desperation grab. One, I'm hoping to startle them with a loud noise that they aren't expecting. And two, I'm hoping that, maybe it will, in some way, shape, or form, alert the paint creature, if he's anywhere in the vicinity, that I'm in peril. And I need his help.
Gotcha. Okay. So these creatures, there are a lot of them. I'm gonna call this but they haven't quite closed with you yet. I'm gonna call this we're just starting here. I'm gonna call this a pain of 7.
Okay.
And the madness to summon him, by the way, instantaneously almost, for this. You're probably gonna need at least 5 madness for this.
Okay.
I can't really do anything to help, can I?
I mean, unless you want to do something to startle these metalheads.
Well, we know how Lana does that, and Lana is not going to do it with this number of them.
Gotcha. All right, you actually got 7 successes. I'm gonna go ahead and roll my 7 dice. I got 3 successes.
Woohoo!
You got 4 more than me.
You didn't need my help.
It looks like pain is dominating, however.
Oh.
So let's get another token of despair. So you will note that there is a grate. There's a grating. This is a more modern area. There is a grating on the side of this building. The paint creature bubbles up from inside it and surges forward. And again, it moves kind of slowly, but it's close enough. It moves up behind these guys, the ones on the left at least, Now keep in mind the direction you were headed was to the right, but this surges up behind a couple of the ones on the left and just lets itself fall onto them as they're stalking forward.
Are these people made of flesh apart from the chains and the masks and whatnot?
Well, you're about to find out.
Okay.
This thing falls on them, and they're like, you for the first time, you hear them utter something. You hear them uttering, as their cloaks, their cloak is torn away, and you see a metal skeleton underneath. Actually, kind of looks almost a little bit like a clockwork skeleton, some of it. Refitted, changed. Not exactly like the clockwork policeman, but similar in some ways. And, yes, they are distracted. Inside the coffee house, I will say that, Reg is going to look up and he's like, "There's a way out the back." He says to, Dawson and Dustin and Lila, where's she here? You're welcome to use it if you want.
I think Dustin's gonna run to the doors and like yank one open and just real quickly yell, "Get in here!"
Turn right around. Actually, I probably don't even like turn to face him because I don't want to turn my back to whatever is it metal face.
They are distracted. They are seeing this paint creature and they're like, "What the hell?"
Yeah, even still though, that doesn't mean I can't catch one of my back.
Oh no, that's perfectly reasonable. Perfectly reasonable. But go ahead. I'm just describing what they're doing.
Yeah. Dawson, in the middle of Reg's revelations, has whipped out a notebook and is just like trying to write stuff down as she's like making her way to the back.
I love this. I love this so much.
So interesting, but there's so many things going on.
Is Luca also entering, or what's Luca doing?
Luca will wait for the paint creature to like move on to more of these things to make sure that it's still going to keep fighting them so that we can make a getaway, but then he'll follow Lana.
It moves itself between you and the creatures, actually. It starts spreading itself out kind of like a barrier. Mm-hmm. And is starting to try to bubble up and surge toward them.
Love that guy.
I would love for him to like go over the feet of some of them and just like start rotting them from the bottom.
Oh, nice.
So that,
no, perfect. Yeah, that's the path that he takes. Starts going over, so oozing over their feet, and they're like, some of them they're trying to move forward, and they can't. They note.
You can hear the rusting. It's like audible. Horrible. I love it.
And then they too, you hear.
Yeah, I'm gonna follow Lana.
Sorry.
So, what are so Dustin yelled, "Come on!" And what's Lila doing?
Wanting to make sure the two of them get in safely in case I need to fight.
They make it in. They make it inside. And this guy behind the bar, this sort of with this pointy goatee and half a mohawk, is like sort of waving you folks, and he's like, "Come on!" Right. And he sort of is looking nervously at some of the handful of patrons in here, and the handful of patrons are slowly kind of standing up and just looking confused. And if you folks are you folks do you folks follow him?
Yes.
Yeah.
He will lead you into the back of the place.
Back, following him into the back, I will sort of look over at Luca real quick and say, Sorry if we attacked your friend earlier. I'm really glad he's on our side.
It's fine. He is, you cannot hurt him very much. He's good. Resilient, that's the word. It came to me eventually.
Good. I'm glad.
You're in a kitchen.
He's important to you. So, I just wanted to put that out there. No hard feelings.
No, none. Soft feelings.
Good.
Oh.
Let's go.
So, he once you all get through the door, Reg slams the door to the kitchen shut and bolts it. Goes, I don't know how long this is going to. Maybe hopefully they won't figure this out. Come on. He basically is going to like. There are shelves in here with all manner of coffee and food products here, and he like grabs one and throws it down behind him as he's going, basically to try to block the door. And there's this tunnel. There's this a corridor, a short corridor that leads to a door in the back. So we're back to the coffee house, just an ordinary, which is, you folks can open up. And you're in a parking lot. Still draped in shadow. You are still in the Shadow District. And Reg will come running out behind you. You are in a parking lot behind the coffee house. There are other buildings between yourself and the river. You can still hear the river.
And it's safe to assume there's no cars.
And there are. There is one car.
Reg, let us borrow your car.
It's a long black. Just trying. What kind of vehicle would this person own? Those. It's not a hearse. You would think.
He probably has a Toyota something because he seems practical like that.
Yeah, it's kind of like. I'm trying to think. It's like a 60s, 70s vehicle, basically. One of those. Unfortunately, I did not do my vehicular research before before this moment.
He's right, Woody.
And but it's kind of I would say it's roughly in the Cadillac range of things, kind of, as far as size goes. And so he'll be like, sure, let's go. Shit. Because he's awake now, and he's going to help you if he can.
We're on a roll, guys. We've reawoken Luca and awoken someone new.
My question is, do you want him to drive, or do you, or does one of you want to drive?
It'd be so bad either way.
Yeah, I feel like this is a no-win.
I mean, it would be kind of rude to take his car and not let him drive.
Yeah, let him drive.
Okay. So he's going to pull out. And he's like, all right. I mean, we want to get away from right here, but where are you headed? And he's trying to pull back into. There are streets here, strangely.
Well,
largely gravel, but yeah. Sorry, go ahead.
To answer your question, I'm going to answer it. That's a good question. We were supposed to find the headwaters to the river.
Okay.
But I'm not thinking we should go through those things.
Yeah, well, we can go alongside the river at least for a little bit. There's I think I think if it's still there, I don't know if it's still there or not, but there should be a place where the road goes parallel. And,
Is there no other option besides riding in a car to do this?
this is what I got.
There are other options.
Dawson, suddenly remembers some stuff. I mean, we don't have to, but it might be the safest.
Okay.
I was gonna ask you, Luca, if you've ever played Grand Theft Auto. But-
I've never done Grand Theft Auto.
No,
that
not
is
done.
That is a crime.
That was exactly the response I expected.
A daughter, and she seems young. I don't.
She was 4. She's not playing.
Yeah.
I wasn't thinking the daughter had, but
I will, if we all pile in, I will make sure that Dawson and Luca, like, end up next to each other and just kind of, like, do the little comforting shoulder rubs.
oh, I'm a jerk. I'm such a jerk.
Admittedly, you don't know.
It's true. That's true.
Oh, yeah, but I knew out of character. I'm such a jerk.
Let me fix the audio, as the music is probably very loud for everyone right now who's in the audience. So one moment, my apologies.
Oh,
There, that's back to where we were roughly. Sorry, headphones gave out, had to switch. Yes, what were we talking about?
Oh,
Getting in the car.
We're all in the car.
making Luca ride in a car and now feeling like a jerk.
Is everybody okay? I missed whatever that was. I'm sorry.
Oh yeah, no, it's
No, we're
fine.
good.
We're all in there.
Mhm.
We're
Okay.
we're being brave.
All right. Let me see. So yeah, are you just taking the car to the point by the river? Is that what we're doing? Okay.
That was the plan, yeah.
Give me a second here. Best I can respond to a question that come out as to what is playing is that I'll just name of the track and I'll explain where I got it. In a moment. It's from I got it from Film Music IO, and that's like the name of the file, and I don't have time to look up the link right this second. However, you are driving. He is recklessly driving, trying to take you, trying to get you closer, and basically is taking this car. You are going down these roads with these lamps on either side, looking partially medieval, looking partially modern. These strange sort of gothic combined with industrial metal. These odd places you're driving through here. Roads of gravel, roads of cobblestone. And he turns, makes a left turn, and comes out and skids, and you're driving along next to the river. It's very hard to see in front, but he doesn't have the high beams on at this point. But you're driving in, you see this mist up ahead of you. It slowly parts as you get closer. And there's a rock wall very close in front of you, and he slams on the brakes. And the vehicle skids to a halt. In front of you, there is this cliff. It's not really a cliff. It's not a small cliff. There's this waterfall cascading down it, down the side. And there is a... There's like a... There actually... It's not a steep cliff. There are little trails going up the sides. Along the top of the cliff, you see this iron gate, sort of along the edge. Iron gate. Iron fence, I should say. An iron fence. In between the fence, what looks like this wrought iron... like a big wrought iron sculpture of a cat. And this river pours out of its mouth. Its eyes gleaming with made of some kind of glass or something, hard to say.
Well?
Shining greenly. And atop...
We did it.
This cliff, you do see you can't really see what's on top of the cliff, but you do see trees. There's like a little forest up there, surrounded by this iron fence.
Can Lana do a quick scan for of the contract? Or we just have to find this, right?
You have to find the source.
Headwaters.
Yes, the headwaters. Now, technically, you have not gazed upon the body of water that is the source. So...
Yup.
Hard to say.
That is a... I can at least point... I can describe the thing that the water is springing forth from.
You can describe that.
And I don't...
But you have not seen what feeds it. So it is hard to say.
And it doesn't look like it's... I can't tell... What am I trying to ask? I, from this vantage point, can't see, a pond or...
Not from this vantage point, no. You would probably need to climb up a bit to see that.
So I'm going to put this to the group. And I say, I've rescanned the contract again. And one could probably make the argument that the kitty with green eyes spewing out water is the source of the river. However, we don't know what's feeding said cat.
I mean, it might just be, like Reg said, it's the Willamette River, and she just took it. We don't know, though.
And I'm not sure that's something we can know just by climbing up the cliff, either.
No, if this fulfilled your contract.
I think I could make an argument for this to get us home. Or those of us who want to go home. And Lana looks at Luca when she says that. It's up to you. We're taking a risk by not investigating more.
to do.
I mean, if the contract doesn't specify that we have to identify the body of water itself, we just need to find where the water is coming from. I mean, the river's coming from somebody's misplaced lawn ornament.
And
Contract law is always an interesting endeavor.
Really want to play loophole politics with these people?
I just get the feeling the Wax King is kind of like the Fae from the really nasty fairy tales, and that you make a contract with them and they follow it to the letter of what is written. And while I could be
pretty
very
much
persuasive,
everything
it could also prevent us, those of us who want to go home, from getting home.
so, I mean, it's your contract. I think it's ultimately up to you.
I know this is an out of character thought here real quick. I know Lana doesn't know basically anything about the Wax King other than he's a king and made out of wax. She maybe has a little bit more knowledge.
Who knows? Sorry, go ahead.
And she
Likely
probably
coded in, ensconced in.
Yeah.
a potato.
No, it's not potatoes, it's wax.
I'm getting my districts confused.
That's understood.
The potatoes are in the garden district.
The potatoes are,
Where we
they're-
just came from.
Yeah.
Anyway, I've distracted myself. I'm trying to figure out a way how I can make this not a major... Well, no, you said that was exhaustion. Basically, what I'm thinking is, can Lana use her abilities to basically, like, try to... I don't know how she would know. That's the problem. I guess maybe I should just ask the question. You can tell me yes or no. My thought is, Lana wants to try to gain some insight into what would be the outcome of, if we go to the Wax King with this information, is it enough to fulfill the contract?
Ah. So, actually, you don't need to use your power for that, necessarily, even. You can, if you want, you just take a second and you think about it. You have not seen the... Here's the thing. And once again, we're talking about the source of the river.
The headwaters.
Headwaters. And so you have not seen a headwater here. It's usually like a lake or something.
Mm-hmm.
It can bubble up from groundwater, or it can form from rain or snow. Typically in nature. Now, you're not in nature here.
Right.
So the cat could be a magical source of this water, possibly. Or, so that's possible, but you don't know yet until you actually get up high enough to see. So, if there's a body of water feeding this river, you do not know the answer to that yet. Which means that, there, a couple of things here, right? One is, if you go with just this information, and if you speak truthfully, then you're not going to be technically fulfilling the terms of the contract. Now, you could lie. We don't know how well that's going to go.
I do have my exhaustion talent as well.
You could lie or try to obfuscate the truth. You do not know how well that will go.
Okay.
However, you do know that he is probably a pretty powerful figure here. So if he ever finds out, he would be a big problem for you.
I've turned into Lila, made enemies.
So it's hard to say, really.
I think
It'd be risky. It's doable, but it's risky.
I think in this moment,
the other thing would be just to climb the trail and take a look, but that's up to
there's
you.
an actual trail.
Yeah, there's a little
Which is
trail
what
going up there.
Lila's doing because she knows, having traded goods and services in this place, that when you've fulfilled your contract. So she's gonna start walking.
I was gonna say also, now knowing that I don't have to climb the sheer rock face that we almost plowed into, because that was also part of my thought process. There's a moment of hesitation when she sees the path. She does a quick double take for needle noses from her earlier adventures.
No needle noses here. Entirely different types of hounds here.
Oh yeah, tentacle. Well, anyway, regardless, she does a quick double take and follows Lila.
Okay. Lila and Lana have gotten out of the car to ascend this path and take a look. What's everyone else doing?
I'll go with. I'm assuming that, we all kind of got out of the car as quick as possible. And so I'm just gonna kind of make sure that Luca is coming with us.
Yeah, I'm going where Dawson's going.
Yeah.
I'm sort of sticking by her.
Yeah.
Cool.
And is Dustin also going, or are you going to steal the car and drive off?
Please do that. That would be very funny.
Well, so Reg is still with us, right?
Yeah. Reg is still with you.
The car?
He's with the car. I think he's probably going to stay with the car and just keep lookout. If you
okay.
If you want to do that.
Yeah, I think what's going to happen is Dustin's going to kind of just pause for a moment, and he's going to look back and forth between the two groups, and then he's just going to thank Reg for the ride and go ahead and start going up the cliff.
Thank you for the raid, Lindy. Hi. We are nearing something. We're so you all take this little trail up the side of this cliff. It does not take long. It's a very small cliff. You hear this water rushing. It becomes almost like a pounding in your heads. You pass through this mist, get up to the top. You see there's this big iron fence and a gate that's standing open. And you can see there looks like there's all this rushing water that you see. And this forest that's up here. There's a forest up here with these blackened trees. Dripping shadow. Lots of shadow up here. And this water is continuing. You think just around the bend there might be a larger body of water that it's coming out of. You might have to go in just a bit to see it.
In for a penny, in for a pound, y'all. Like, we're up here.
I think Lana, in this moment, seeing the bend and the black forest, says to Lila and Dawson, I got you into this. Please let me lead us into whatever is going to happen just around the river bend. Or the forest bend.
Okay.
Pocahontas starts to play.
Oh no. You all approach. It's pretty quiet in here. I'd almost say it's like you would hear, this is a place you would expect to hear bugs, the sounds of nature, and maybe that's what you're hearing, but it's very distorted. You're hearing something. As you come around, it's getting darker and darker. The shadows, even between the trees, see them sort of flitting back and forth. Almost as though they're alive. Not quite, but almost. The darkness curls around you all, to the point that it's hard to even see each other. Until you come around and you see a source of light. There is... You have found the source of this water. It is a lake. Small lake. Maybe a pond, really. Which... somehow that works. We're not sure how. But it works here. The source of light that you see is next to it, ahead of you. It is a skull on a pike, its eyes burning. Burning green. And just behind it, this rocky promontory, squats a hut. Wooden hut. Just sitting there. Its front door open. You do now hear something distantly flitting around in the trees behind you. And then there's a shift, and again the darkness passes in front of you. And when it leaves again, as it flits back and forth, there is a figure standing in the doorway of the hut. Tall, but also crooked. Looks like a spindly old woman. Made of shadow. He reaches a hand forth. Long and clawed. Turn and you should see she has like an impossibly large hooked nose. And hair going wild all around. That is the shape of it, at least. This woman made of shadow. She leans forward. You hear her say, "Well, I was certainly not expecting visitors. But it seems you're here. Perhaps you'll be staying a while." Far behind you, you hear the echoing of the iron gate slamming shut. And I think that is where we are going to pause it for the night. So,
power.
yes. Turns out this was not the finale after all.
We're staring it down, I feel like, quite literally at the moment.
We're very close. Very close. I think. So, you have met the Shadow Crone. Congratulations.
Yay! Achievement unlocked.
Check that off the list.
So, we're going to go around and do our outros, and this narrative, I think, is going to come to an end next time. I'm pretty sure that this will be the end of the arc, this next one. One way or the other. I mean, you never know. It depends on what everybody does, but, you know, I'm pretty sure. I'm pretty sure. We're going to go around and do our outros. You can feel free to tell folks where they can find you and plug whatever you like. Any final thoughts you have about this session? And we're going to go in reverse order, so we are going to start with Rrok.
Good evening, everybody. I have been Rock and Roll, and that is pretty much how you can find me anywhere on the internet, is as Rock and Roll. This was a cool session. I definitely kind of a little difficult to pick a high point, but I would definitely say that the conversation with the ear of corn, Lucas' conversation there was definitely it. So yeah. This is this has been cool, and I'm definitely looking forward for the next session, getting closer to the end of this arc and the beginning of the next one.
Yes indeed. Awesome, excellent. And now we will head over to Hannah.
I'm Hannah, Hanimation Art on Twitter, Hanimation Studios pretty much everywhere else. You can find my personal shop at hanimation.shop, where I make fun things. I do artwork. There's a lot. I'm here though. That's fun. My little heart is going a mile a minute, and we just met the Strega dell'Ombra, which is very exciting for our next session. I cannot wait. Yeah. Hope we don't die next time. That would be less fun.
You never know.
I'm back at 6 exhaustion, so I make no promises.
Ah, excellent. I mean, the one thing we did, we have learned recently is that the Mad City does have a body disposal system. So.
Don't tell us that.
Well, no, that was on the other show then. That's honestly, when I say body disposal system, I'm really there's a mortician. That's
Oh, so we're in blissful ignorance about the body disposal. Good.
Yeah. That hasn't.
Hopefully, I'm gonna knock on wood. We don't have to find out.
I mean, someone comes by and picks up the body. Anyway, you never know. But that said, we're going to go ahead and head over to Nash.
Hi, I'm Nash. It's at Theater Nerd 221 on all of the places. Right now, I don't have anything else going on. Oh, other than this again in a few weeks after we're done. So,
Yeah.
Fair, very fair. Any other thoughts about the session?
Well, I was trying to avoid meeting her by trying to figure out if I could lie, or not lie, stretch the truth.
Yes.
Of
course.
but contract law, man.
Yeah. I mean, it's absolutely fair. What you gonna do? You can only do so much, really. But that said, let me go ahead and I found the found the link to the. By the way, someone asked about the metal music earlier, and I did find a link with information. I'm just going to put that in the chat if it allows me to do so. There it is. They make you copy and paste the whole thing, so there that is. But now we're going to head over to Olivia.
Awesome. Sorry, I'm just clicking that link because that was jamming when we were in the coffee shop. I am Olivia. I've been Dawson this evening. You can find me on Twitter and most of the internet as Cry Out Olivia. You can also find me over on the actual play podcast Material Components, which can be found wherever you like to find podcasts. I also had a favorite Luca moment, which was just I guess not a Luca moment, a horrible paint creature moment, which was it just bubbling out from the sewers. Just, I love that man. I'm like Lila, I'm very sorry that we tried to absolutely murder him the first time we met him.
He's fine. He has no brain and therefore no feelings about it one way or another.
It's fair.
So it's no brain, but all heart.
But
There you
Luca
go.
does, and we love Luca.
Yeah.
Oh my god. I'm gonna have to. Okay, well, wait. I'm gonna reveal something in a moment. That actually, technically, it's not a reveal because it's been streamed, but I'm gonna do that in a moment. But first, let us head over to Alyssa.
Hey everybody, I have been your friendly virtual spinner of yarns and teller of tall tales. You can find me on the internet at Shawl Tales, and back here again next week for the finale in which we face the creepy hut in the woods where you should never go. Because Lila has to be honest.
You
She's
have-
got a damn hero complex now.
Never make it as an attorney.
You do have the information you need to fulfill your contract, though, just so you'll know. So good on you for that. And I think it's going to be fine. It's going to be just fine. I know, just a pleasant spot of afternoon tea with the Shadow Crown. I'm sure everything will be fine.
Mm.
But actually, and also I've decided. Actually, I'm not gonna go into detail here on the stream about the thing I was going to talk about, but I will probably say it off stream in a minute. Those of you who wish to know more about the body disposal system, go back and look at the end of the finale of The Outer Veil, and there's more information there. In the meantime, folks, hi, I'm Jim. I think I am anyway. We'll figure it out. I'm Jim Ryan. You can find me at OtherDoc on both Twitch and Twitter, also on Hive, on Mastodon, and most other social media platforms. Where I'm not OtherDoc, I'm Jim Yes That Jim. My website is jimyesthatjim.com, where you can find my Geek Observation podcast and links to my various other podcasts, audio dramas, writings, and such. Down below, you can access my website, social media links, YouTube channel, and various other things. Let's see. So on Wednesday, we have our Dune campaign, House Versailles. It should things are heating up a bit. We've got a big gala coming. I think we're almost there. I think we're almost to the big gala. But we've been finding out a lot of stuff, so we just got to deal with that and see kind of what we do. Lots of pieces in motion. It's very interesting. And then that's it. 1 week from today, we will hopefully be having the finale of the Inner Circle, where we shall find out what happens here finally to all of our awakened folk. I think I can't wait. I'm very excited to see how they tackle this and what happens in the near future. So very, very keen to see that. So, when we hit the end card, let's see. I actually had a couple of options as to where I wanted to raid. Praxagora Thesmophoria is open right now. I haven't actually raided them in a little while. She's actually going over some... She's going over some legal stuff that's been of note in the tabletop community recently. So I'm thinking about going over there if we can stand it. But if we want to talk, if we want to talk about that, because there's been a lot of talk about that lately. But she's actually very good at breaking these things down. This is very significant, so I'm going to go over it and say hi to her. Feel free to hang on if you're so inclined to say hi to her with us. That'll be when we hit the end card. In the meantime, folks, thank you all very much for watching. Take care, and we will catch you next time. Farewell.